Can you talk a little bit about who you think like these successful personality types or the motivations are for people who want to sell a business? Like you mentioned just a little bit ago, that kind of chasing the shiny object, looking at other things as an entrepreneur. That's something that a lot of entrepreneurs I see, have that type of a person, that type of personality. They're great at the startup. They get bored in the systematizing and the operations and standard operating procedures and stuff that it takes to grow. Do you think that's a good personality type for considering selling their business?
I think everyone that looks to sell, because look, I mean, look, when a business is growing and it's growing what you see in your control and things are fantastic, no entrepreneur in his right mind is going to sell that business, right? So they either reach a point of holy crap, they almost get scared of their own business. And I think that's what happened to me, right? I got scared of, it was nearly a 7-figure profit a year business when I sold it. And my fear was, wow, I don't want this to just dwindle away. And I, look back and being like, wow, I wish I would have sold that thing while it was making $1 million profit. And then the other side of me, why I think I sold, was I reached a point where, I had started the business to, like I said, we had just had our first daughter. And I was really like, hey, if I can do this thing on the side and pay for her college over the course of the next 18 years, right? If I could just make enough money to pay for her college, that's a great side business, And so when you start with that intent and then it turns into this massive thing, I really had no plan, I am not the entrepreneur that wants a Fortune 500 company and to be gone, well, everyone's working at home now, but, right, to be gone, 50, 60 hours a week away from my kids while they're growing. I'm really more of the lifestyle entrepreneur. I enjoy working from home. I enjoy, the second I get off, it's like, boom, it's family time. I don't have to sit in traffic. I used to hate the traffic, right? When I heard Ryan's podcast, that was something that really drove me to do this. But, so I think people either reach a point of fear where they're like, holy cow, this thing is so big, it's starting to scare me. Or they reach a point of, I don't know what's next. I don't know how to scale this further. They don't have the mindset to scale it further, or they don't want to scale it further. And I think I was like the combination of the both, right? So I was like the perfect candidate. But I think there's also like, both of those can be individual reasons. I also think sometimes you start a business, let's say with a partner, and that partnership can go awry, or it can take a turn. It can, do something where basically, or one partner might get interested in something else, and so there's a reason for that too. And there's like partnerships involved that, they didn't expect the business to get that big either, So I think those three things are like all great candidates for people looking to, sell, and why they would sell. At least my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean I think it's really accurate in the number of conversations I've had with potential sellers of businesses. It takes somebody that is very conscious of their own fears, their own frustrations, their own motivations, and I think those individuals make great candidates to potentially sell their business because they can let go, and they can recognize that this isn't the only ride at the rodeo that they'll ever have in the world of business. Mm-hmm. And it's really it's interesting to see different people's motivations. And I have a number of conversations with folks that don't follow up, and I think that kind of categorically, what I see in those are they're not ready to let go. So in some cases, there may be a bit of ego involved too, or they feel like they know it all, or that they can take it to not only did they get it to $1 million in profit, they think they can get it to $10 million in profit, or go to $100 million. And I find that really fascinating because I've kind of chipped away at some of those individuals and gotten to the nuts and bolts of what they're actually making. And and many times they will shield their lack of profit behind how they're building infrastructure and they're building enterprise and they're building processes. Frequently, that I think it's a little bit of fooling oneself. That yeah, you can have a successful business and the top line is huge, maybe tens of millions, 100 million, etc. But your profit is razor thin, if any, in some of those cases. And those in particular I have found to be, somewhat challenging to have a rational conversation around. About 50%, I think on average, 50% of an entrepreneur's profit in their business is waiting for them on the exit. So if they're in the midst of trying to build a business just for cash flow, or even for not for cash flow, just for enterprise value, the sooner they get to exit, the sooner they're going to realize that actual payday of what they were trying to get into. And frequently the buyers that are out there can be some that are very synergistic and can help take the business to the next level. In other cases, like the under $10 million, route, often they're, especially if it's an SBA situation like yours, full on transfer the business. You're not involved in it after a transition period. But I just think it's interesting from a motivation perspective, who succeeds and then who doesn't even start the race, so to speak. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications about new videos and interviews. And introduce yourself in the comments. Are you a buyer or a seller?